What is happening right now in Tanzania and the impact of the war in Iran is happening across the globe. Even if we were to resolve the war today, there's still months, if not years ahead, of high oil prices and fuel prices, much higher than were before the war. But there's still a lot of uncertainty about when that war will end and when the embargoes will end. And that places a lot of uncertainty about what the economic impact is going to be.
We need to be very much aware about the fact that the crisis is there to stay for quite a while. The big elephant in the room is, of course, the price. And we are not going to be immune to radical, dramatic price increase for a couple of reasons. The first reason is the crisis itself. The second of all is that the production tool, should it be for gas, should it be for main refineries in Middle East, has been severely harmed. The gas oil has increased by 117% in March. The gasoline has increased by 71%. The price of the jet, preventing us to fly without paying the cost of flying, heavy cost of flying now, has doubled. The freight premium has gone to the roof, sometimes times 10. What was costing $35 to $40 to transport a ton of whatever liquid fuel from the Gulf to here has now moved up to $350 to $400 a ton. So time 10 is the factor.
We're definitely going to see more inflationary pressures down the line and going to see more pressures on the foreign exchange as well.
What made you decide to invest in Tanzania and all these pressures that are now on you? The combination of the pressures outside, externally, and the pressures inside in Tanzania. How do you deal with that?
We've been dealing with crisis, uncertainty, unrest, and all this stuff. So for most of us, it's business as usual. For the month of March, without having purchased diesel at a new price, my unit cost increased by 10%.
Uncertainty is not something new to the business leaders anymore.
Two main things that I want to emphasize here. The one is that the safest shield is the long-term strategy. And the second thing is the agility to operate day to day.
If you did a PwC Tanzania CEO survey, I'm very familiar with that because David has done this before and it's a great survey that we've done. Now that was done just before some of the events. Now looking at that afterwards and taking in everything that your peers have been talking about, the survey said you were cautiously optimistic with confidence in the local market growth remaining strong. Now, given the recent shifts in the environment, how do you see things? Is this affecting your CEO sentiment to your clients over the next 12 months, particularly in relation to the investment timing, capital allocation, and expansion decisions? How do you see this?
The confidence of the business leaders in Tanzania is pretty much grounded in the local macroeconomic fundamentals as opposed to global tailwinds. So this optimism is not going to shift to, for business leaders to be pessimistic, but will be more cautious in their decision making. You spoke about investment decisions, and I think the business leaders, they'll be more selective in terms of where and how to deploy capital. Already we have seen, from the survey that they are very careful in terms of capital allocation. At least they tend to reallocate 10% or less across the business units, but around a quarter, they're already speaking about a slowdown in large investments. And the focus is more on risk management.
On the price of a liter of fuel, on the base 154 goes to taxes. So we are not talking about a proposal to cancel those taxes, but we are proposing that a part of those taxes could be suspended for a temporary period of time. So this could alleviate the pressure for the motorist, who is the one to pay, and specifically the user in terms of population of public transport.
And what we've been advocating even since the war in Ukraine started and oil prices also went up, is that introducing generalized subsidies or removals of taxes tends to be very costly for governments, because it's very difficult. It's very easy to implement those, very difficult to take them back.
A significant proportion of the government revenue actually comes from taxes on fuel. It's around 14%. So if you're going to take that away, you need to somehow make up the balance. I do have some sympathy on some of the regulatory levies, but I feel on the taxes, it may be a bit of a challenge. And though you reference Zambia, I mean, I've just checked online again, and even after their reduction of VAT, our diesel price apparently is lower. So historically, our government have been very hesitant to adjust our taxes on fuel, which are specific rather than ad valorem. So if you actually look at it, we have probably been having ongoing reductions over the last 10 or 20 years in real terms.
This country, we should stop talking about it in terms of potential, for one. And two, this is not because we are back to the wall facing the crisis that we suddenly should think about gasification of this country. It should have happened and started 12 years ago.
We are looking for is predictability. That's for sure. Efficiency and effectiveness when it comes to operating in this environment.
Africa may well be the best place to operate in uncertainty. We've had decades of practice. Policy shifts, currency swings, supply shocks. What others are now learning, we've been managing for years. And perhaps that's the key takeaway. We cannot control global uncertainty, but we can control how prepared we are, how quickly we respond, and how well we collaborate.